Night, October 21st. The time is now 6:16 p.m. and we will get started with roll call.
Present.
VP Bowman. Treasurer, Trustee Kraft. I'm here. Trustee Garrett.
Present.
Trustee Gross.
Present.
President Hannah.
Present.
And Treasurer Terry.
Present.
That passes.
Thank you. If everyone can stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Can I get approval of the agenda, please?
So moved.
Support.
It's been moved by Trustee Gross and supported by VP Bowman for the approval of our agenda. Any questions?
Yes. Based on what we just discussed, one of the subjects in the back, would that have us to amend the agenda before we make am I correct?
That's correct.
So that would have to add the
Yes,
Barton
so
Mallow?
we will add that.
So I remove my motion
Yes,
and make a motion to amend.
yes. All right. We're going to amend our agenda to add the item. Seekers, where should we?
Call it the Barton Mallow termination agreement.
Okay. And we'll add this under which item?
You can put it under General Counsel,
Yes.
which is that, so that's 6C, 2B, and 3B.
60.
Just a point of clarity, that cannot be the title because that was used to actually have the termination agreement. It would have to be, the title would have to include what the motion is or a small description of what that motion is.
You can call it approval of the Barton Mallow termination agreement.
No, we've already had an emotion back in March about the termination agreement.
Yes,
This is to accept an offer.
No, it is to approve an agreement, a contract between the district and Barton Mallow regarding the separation of the parties.
No, well, Madam Chair, I feel uncomfortable with that particular title because it legally states that we're now taking a vote on to say we agree with this separation. That is not what we're agreeing to. We already agreed to separate. What I am stating is that we put in there the amount that they're asking, or we describe what they're asking in the motion.
The settlement? Should it just say approval of the settlement?
I would say approval of a settlement or a settlement agreement or offer.
Approval of the settlement with
Yeah,
Barton Mallow.
Yeah, a settlement agreement.
Okay.
Yeah, because you guys are
Approval of the
approving
settlement agreement.
the Dr. Leverett to actually sign this agreement once it's approved.
Okay. All right, so we are going to amend the agenda to add in under our general counsel, item 6C, I believe, and for the approval of a settlement agreement with Barton Mallow.
Correct.
So moved.
Support. All right, it's been moved by Trustee Gross and supported by President Hannah to amend the agenda to add under item 6C, the approval of settlement agreement with Barton Mallow. Any questions? Roll call, please.
Trustee Kraft.
Yes.
I'm voting yes. Trustee Garrett.
No.
Trustee Gross.
Yes.
President Hannah.
Yes.
Treasurer Terry.
Yes.
All right, thank you. So now can I get a motion to approve the amended agenda, please? A motion to approve the amended agenda.
So moved.
Thank Thank you.
Support by Garrett.
Thank you. It's been moved by trustee Gross and supported by trustee Garrett to approve the amended agenda. Any questions? Roll call.
I'm voting yes. Trustee Garrett,
Yes.
trustee Gross.
Yes.
President Hannah,
Yes.
treasurer Terry,
Yes.
VP Bowman,
Yes.
trustee Crab.
Yes.
That passes.
Thank you. Moving down to the agenda, awards and recognitions, Dr. Leverett.
That's a teacher? They all teachers? I didn't know.
Thank you, Dr. Hannah. Good evening, trustees, staff, students, our family, and community. This is a great opportunity. I had a chance to meet many of these students earlier this year with Mrs. Jackson, and I really want to commend you, Mrs. Shauna Jackson, because I remember years ago when you and I were at the table with previous administration, and this was an idea and a conversation that we were having about the need to have a program such as this, and to see it come to fruition and continue to grow and thrive is just really commendable. So I would like to publicly thank you for your leadership, and please come up, because I would really like for her to help me pass out these certificates this evening, and also to give a little background in terms of what the next steps are for these students. Mrs. Jackson, thank you.
Good evening to everyone, to our parents, Dr. Hannah, and the board and trustees, and to the community, and especially our students. Thank you so much. This is always a great pleasure to have our students come out to be recognized, as well as seeing them earn a certificate of completion when they finish school. I'm just overwhelmed this year, especially because if you look, we have them in their purple. Don't they look good?
Great, yeah.
And we have more of our male students in the program.
Yeah.
So I am very proud of that. You want me to call Dr. Reeves up or call the students up first? Okay. We couldn't do this without Dr. Reeves. Dr. Reeves, will you come up?
Yes.
Yeah.
She is the professor and the person who continues to allow us to come to Covenant Academy to bring our students. And when I tell you, I don't have to really do much. I just have to have some conversation with her, and she has the plan already done. When our students get ready to take the test, she makes sure that they have a study time with her. She just goes beyond to make sure our students achieve. So if you would like to say a few words, please.
Thank you, Ms. Jackson, and to the board. I'm humbled and grateful that I was selected as a school of choice, and it really makes my heart glad to see so many of my students are still progressing. But I'm just going to share this one point with you. OU had a freshman retreat, and my great niece was just admitted to OU. And she called me and she says, Auntie Patty, you won't believe, I met two of your students and they were just saying how much they love you. And I said, which two? Now, these were the two I said to them personally. The last day of school, of class, I said, you have so much in you. You can go further than you think, and I will be really proud for you to get into the nursing program. And they were like, well, we don't have money, we don't have this. But I said, I know a lady that can get you some money if you're going to put your heart in it and go. And when I asked my niece, I said, what were their names? And she said, Isis and Desiree. And I just screamed on the phone. I was so happy because those are the two students that I said, you can do this. Pontiac has made a way for you. Take advantage of it. And I say that to each of you sitting over there in those purple suits. Pontiac has the money, you can do it and pursue your goals in education. Thank you for the opportunity. I'm glad.
Okay, thank you.
At this time, we would like to recognize each of our students, but let's start with our fearless leader, Dr. Patricia Reeves. This certificate of distinction, Dr. Reeves, is in recognition of your instruction of the Pontiac School District Certified Nursing Assistant Program. The fall 2024 cohort maintained an overall 93% average. Thank you, Dr. Reeves, for your teaching and support of our students. Elizabeth Montoya. Leah Ruiz.
As you can see, we got them bags to match the uniform. Thank you.
Aaliyah Lore. Jonte Spillman. I'll slow down. Ricky Brown Jr. Tara Bowman. Jade Williams. Kenya Bledsoe.
And she's the queen of
Pontiac High School homecoming queen. All right, take it all in. The future, our future healthcare workforce. This is outstanding. Diamond Huling. Priscilla Hernandez Olia. Saxido. Sophia Martinez Saxido. Chelsea Benitez. Sarah Vu. Randolph Evans.
Somebody has to be last, Randolph.
Take a look again. This is so exciting. We are in good hands. The future looks outstanding. Future healthcare. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Reeves. Thank you, Shauna. We appreciate you so very much.
With the fashion cars that did, they're right there. Okay.
If you can give us a quick 3 minutes, 5 minutes, so we can get a picture with our students, and then they can leave. I know they've had a long day, so they can leave after this quick picture. Thank you. If you guys can come up front. gonna keep this moving. Here's them time.
Yeah. I need to look at that.
All right, thank you.
I do believe so.
Thank you, parents. Thank you, students.
You only got 15.
All right, trustees. We're going to move forward with our agenda. Yep, we do.
We have a quorum.
We do have a quorum. All right, so again, congratulations to Dr. Reeves as well as our students. Moving down on the agenda, we're at recognition of elected officials. Good evening again, trustees.
Good evening, Dr.
Happy
Hannah.
Monday to you. Can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda, please?
So moved. Support.
It's been moved by trustee Gross and supported by treasurer Terry to approve the consent agenda. Any questions? Roll call, please.
It is trustee Gross,
Yes.
President Hannah,
Yes.
treasurer Terry,
Yes.
and I'm voting yes, it passed. Oh, trustee Kraft?
I'm here.
Okay,
Yes, consent agenda.
All right,
Consider it yes.
okay.
Of course.
thank you. Moving on down the agenda, we are at information from superintendent and administration. Dr. Leverett, the meeting is yours.
Thank you. I don't have any items for discussion, but at this
don't.
time, I will turn it back over to you
Right.
for the resolution honoring Mrs. Estelle
Under the
Marshall.
short agenda, baby.
It's Monday. We get back into the swing of things.
Thank you, Doc.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yes, Troy.
All right,
I'm about to show.
Regular.
resolution honoring Ms. Estelle Marshall, School District of the City of Pontiac Board of Education. Resolution honoring Estelle Marshall on her 100th birthday. Whereas the School District of the City of Pontiac has been privileged to employ thousands of individuals in the district over the decades who have left an incredible impression on our students and community. Estelle Marshall was employed by Pontiac School District as a teacher assistant from 1975 until her retirement in 1985. Whereas she has been honored with many special recognitions for her service, including a certificate of special tribute from the state of Michigan and finalist in the Exemplary Volunteer Service Award, the J.C. Penney's Golden Rule Award, and Detroit Rotary Club Golden Oldies. Whereas she married Joel Marshall in 1967 and to this day is a devoted wife and mother as a member of 5 generations of Pontiac Marshalls and Wrights. Whereas she is a devoted church mother of the Lake Street Church of God in Pontiac. Whereas she celebrated her 100th birthday on October 20th, 2024. Resolved, the Board of Education for the School District of the City of Pontiac hereby celebrates the life and career of Estelle Marshall and celebrates her 100th birthday, which is a joyous day for all who know her and the Pontiac School District community, and further resolved that we extend our congratulations to Estelle, her family, friends, colleagues, and neighbors as they honor her. And further resolved, the Board of Education expresses our deepest gratitude for her years of service to our community and to the many people whose lives she enriched. Congratulations to Ms. Marshall.
That's a blessing.
That is totally a blessing.
Thank you, Doc.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Continuing on with our agenda, General Counsel, Human Resource items. Dr. Leverett?
Yes, at this time, I will turn it over to Ms. Kellum, Science Supervisor recommendation. Ms. Kellum, good evening.
Good evening, Dr. Leverett and Board Trustees.
Point of order. I think you guys are supposed to vote on that resolution.
To vote on the resolution.
Yes.
Okay.
So moved.
Support.
It's been moved by trustee Gross and supported by treasurer Terry to approve or accept the resolution for Ms. Estelle Marshall. Any questions?
Who moved it? I'm sorry.
Trustee Gross.
Thank you.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Gross.
Yes, oh, yes, absolutely.
President Hannah.
Yes.
Treasurer Terry.
Yes.
Trustee Kraft.
Yeah.
I'm voting yes. Trustee Garrett.
Yes.
That passes.
Thank you. All right, now let's move on down to our General Counsel Human Resource items. Ms. Keller.
Thank you. Good evening again. This is an item for discussion and action. Candidate for recommendation for hire, Kevin Upton, Science Supervisor, will be a district position. The background rationale reads, the proposed 24-25 contract will secure Kevin Upton's contract and shall be at the annual rate of Science Supervisor, Science Supervisor, Step 2, Line 9. This need to be updated. The salary is $113,976.86 on the PASA salary table. This position is covered under the PASA collective bargaining agreement. Regarding the base salary for the 24-25 school fiscal year, October 21 through June 30, 2025, if the operating tax levy for a given fiscal year increases less than 3% from the previous fiscal year tax levy, there will be no salary schedule increase. If the operating tax levy for a given fiscal year increases greater than 3% from the previous fiscal year tax levy, the salary schedule increase shall equal 50% of the percentage increase above 3%. For example, if the tax levy increases 6%, then the wage scale shall increase 1.5%, which is 6% minus 3% times 50%. The salary schedule increase shall not exceed 5% in any given year. The funding source is general fund. It is the recommendation of administration that the Board of Education discuss and approve the contract for Kevin Upton as a district science supervisor effective October 21, 2024 through June 30, 2025. Mr. Upton is in the audience. His resume and certification should be attached, and I see a couple typos in this, so I'll make sure that it's updated and sent to Cynthia in the morning.
Thank you. Board, is there any questions?
I just got a comment.
Yes, come. Trustee Garrett.
Super excited. Science supervisor, now we need a literacy supervisor, right? Not literacy. Social studies supervisor. So moving in the right direction. I fully support, saw the resume. This is just really huge for me, this hire, right? It's really huge for the district. So thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Garrett. Any other comments from the board? I too looked over your resume, very impressive. Very impressive. Thank you for considering Pontiac School District too. All right. No more questions, comments from the board? All right, can I get a motion? All right.
Support by Garrett.
All right, the motion on the floor is for the approval of our science supervisor. It has been motioned by trustee Gross, supported by trustee Garrett. Any questions? Roll call, please.
President Hannah.
Yes.
Treasurer Terry.
Yes.
Trustee Kraft.
Yes.
I'm voting yes. Trustee Garrett.
Yes.
Trustee Gross.
Yes.
That passes.
6-0. All right, perfect, thank you. Ms. Kellum,
Welcome aboard.
welcome aboard. Mr. Lipton? Do you want to ask him, did you need to?
Mr. Upton, would you like to go to the mic and speak to the board, address yourself to the board?
I'm going to try to choke back the tears that I got. What a night to be here. My father was I have service running through my veins. My father was a Vietnam War veteran, and I was raised by 2 nurses. So to sit here and watch that tonight really just pulled it up, so I'm going to hold it back. It's really just an honor and a privilege to be here to serve the community and the kids and to work here in service of them. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, the next item on our agenda is for the approval of the settlement agreement with Barton Mello.
All right, Pontiac School District, referred herein as the owner, and Barton Mallow, which is the construction manager or CM, entered into a construction management agreement as of March 10th, 2020, under which the construction manager has been acting as the owner's construction manager for its 2020 bond election projects and other construction projects funded through the owner's sinking fund, as well as certain construction projects funded with ESSER funds in the amount of $7,593,072 as part of its bid packets BP 101, 011, 013, 031, as set forth within the construction management agreement, as the same was amended and/or modified by the owner and construction manager on or about January 23rd, 2024, pursuant to Section 9.5 of the Construction Management Agreement. The owner issued the construction manager written notice of the owner's election to terminate the CM agreement for convenience, effective March 1, 2024. The construction manager maintains it is still owed almost $1.4 million for services it provided Pontiac School District through March 1, 2024. The owner and construction manager desire to enter into a termination agreement to, 1, set forth an understanding of the parties relative to the amounts owed or credited by or to owner to and from construction manager for services performed by construction manager prior to March 1, 2024, under the CM agreement. 2, set forth the understanding of the parties regarding their obligations relative to the effective transition of the projects to the owner. And 3, to set forth the final amount owed by owner to the construction manager for services performed prior to March 1, 2024 under the CM agreement. It is the recommendation of administration that the Board of Education approve the attached termination agreement between Pontiac School District and Barton Mallow, reflecting the final amount owed to Barton Mallow by PSD is $875,000, the final fee, which is inclusive of all amounts owed to contractor for services performed prior to March 1, 2024, including the construction manager fee and any permissible general condition items, reimbursable expenses, and personnel costs incurred prior to March 1, 2024.
Thank you, Attorney Seegers. Any questions or comments from the board? Yes, Trustee Garrett.
Thank you, Madam President. So I would like for, at this particular point in time, because I cannot support this as it is written, but to also not to table this until we have our facilities manager check what they say that we owe in this particular bear that was just read by our attorney. And the reason why I say table and not vote it down, it is because we have not entered into a financial binding request between us, the owners, and them, the construction management company. That would give me a little bit more relief in understanding that what was said was done is done. And so even though this may be an offer that they are offering or that we may agree, I know the recommendation is for us, for administration to approve this, but I would like for the board to table this and then also have a conversation with facility management, Mr. Beasley, as it relates to making sure that the actual work was completely done. Because as this is worded, it is worded in such a fashion as if these things were completed, and we know that they are possibly not. And I would just like to have some verification from him.
Okay.
That's my comments.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments?
Yes.
Trustee
I
Gross?
too would, I would support the tabling to allow us the opportunity to have these matters looked upon and determine whether or not we owe this amount. And I'm well aware, but I'm not about just paying because someone says what we owe them. I know what we discussed and where we are and what we determined, but I don't want us to take monies from children that can be utilized to do something else when we don't owe this total amount. I agree with that, and I understand the where we are and the time lapse and everything that's important. But I would second that motion to table until we gather that information. That's something we did not discuss, and I think that we could look at it differently if we had the numbers. And if it's close to these, then okay, then we'll move forward. If not, we'll move forward from there.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. Any other trustees? Okay. We should,
So I'll put a motion on the floor to table this discussion until after we hear back from the interim facility manager, Marvin Beasley.
Support.
all right, it's been motioned by trustee Garrett and supported by trustee Gross to table this discussion of the approval of settlement agreement with Barton Mallow until we received information back from our facilities manager, Mr. Marvin Beasley. Any questions?
Just one, and it's just a table because I don't want to
Okay.
not be able to.
Okay.
Right.
All right. Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Treasurer Terry?
Yes.
Trustee Kraft?
Yes.
I'm voting yes. Trustee Garrett?
Yes.
Trustee Gross?
Yes.
President Hannah?
Yes.
That passes 6-0.
All right, thank you.
My only question, Madam Chair?
Yes.
Are we setting any time limits on when we get back the information, or should we wait until the next board meeting? Is that where we're looking in November? Or is that necessary? I'm not sure. I want to make sure we're all on the same page. I don't want to rush him if he can't.
No.
Take some
Right.
time.
And that's why I didn't
It
put a
is gonna
time,
take
that's why I
some
didn't put a
time,
time
right.
limit on it.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to rush him. We're not in any mediation or anything like that. I just feel comfortable about him being the interim facilities manager.
Yeah.
He has the documentation, and then if so be it that we need a owner's rep to come in at that particular point in time to overlook that particular documents because he can't do it alone, then you need to have someone, then we should have that option to do so. I do not want to take this off I did not want to possibly have it be voted down, because if there are some other things that a owner's rep can look at, separate eyesight, and the manager can come up. He's been in a job for probably about 8 months, almost a year now, right? He's been looking over the documents. He knows, he should know what's work has been completed in those buildings and which have not. And that's why I didn't want a time limit.
Okay.
Yeah, I
that's
didn't
fine.
want to rush him.
Okay, nope, that's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah, okay. Thanks, Doc.
All right, thank you. All right, moving on down our agenda, we are at communications, petitions, and delegations. Trustee Gross, please.
Thank you. Madam Chair, we have 4, and I
Okay.
want to read this just one time. Your request to adjust the Pontiac Board of Education for 3 minutes is granted with your commitment that all comments will be delivered with courtesy and civility. Failure to do so will result in forfeiture of your allotted time. I've numbered these, and I want to make sure I say the name right, so don't hold this against me. Candace Ridley. Did I say that right? I do know Candace. Yes, that is right. Ms. Ridley, you have 3 minutes. Thank you. Subject is middle school updates.
Good evening, trustees.
Good evening.
staff,
Good evening.
Good evening.
families, community. I'm here as a teacher from Pontiac Middle School, as well as the president of the Pontiac Education Association. Pontiac Middle School is a building in crisis. We are completely understaffed. Right now, just about every teacher in that building is missing their preps every day because we're covering classes multiple times per week. We have no science teachers for 7th and 8th grade. Our 6th grade math teacher's on maternity leave. There's been no long-term sub that can take that position. We are struggling. In addition to our normal, people get sick, people have other responsibilities where they have to take a day off. Things like that are happening, and we don't have the staff to cover. We are a building in crisis. Because of this understaffing, it's also starting to become a bit of a safety issue. We have concerns. I mean, we've got escalating behaviors in the classroom, escalating behaviors in the hallway. Students are starting to assault different teachers just because they think they can get away with it. And this needs to stop. We need help. We need support. We need you to help us help our students. It's very difficult when you have a class of 40 to teach them, to differentiate for each one of them, especially if you've got 30 of them that don't speak English. And there aren't enough tutors or bilingual parapros to support us in supporting them. Because of this, we're finding it very difficult to focus on achievement, which is our goal. We want our students to achieve. We want those test scores higher. We want our students to be able to look at themselves in the mirror and say, I did this. I'm proud of what I've accomplished. I'm proud of my grades. I'm proud of where I'm going in life. As we saw with our CNA students, they're so proud to get that certificate today and be recognized by you. And I'd like that for our current students too. Most of those students I taught. I recognize most of them. I want that for our current students in the future. I want them to be able to sit in those seats and be proud with a 93% average or even higher. But are they going to get there in these conditions? Thank you.
Thank you. Candace?
Thank you.
I have a point of clarity, and I just got a question. From my understanding, we're not allowed to negotiate because we are in negotiations with the PEA agreement, right? Is that not true?
Right, we're not negotiating.
Are we
You're
in
right, we're cannot.
negotiations right now, or we settled it?
We're currently negotiating.
Okay, we're currently in negotiations. So we talked about one of the negotiation points that was brought up was really class size. We don't know that to be true if that's what actually is happening in that particular class. So we will have to investigate that. But we have a policy, so now we're negotiating it. And so I feel uncomfortable having this type of dialogue over a policy that was signed off by the MEA as that we would adhere to these policies. And if we're not going to adhere to the policies and we're violating the policies that both of us agreed that we would not violate, then I would like a little bit more, if speak however you're going to speak, but I would like a little bit more clarity to what, or description as a trustee, so that I'm not violating what we agreed upon as we're negotiating, because the people in the audience and the people on the camera, that's why we have the policy, don't know the difference. And so I feel uncomfortable sitting here when we have a policy in place and that is being violated by the other party who said that they would not violate it when you start talking about classroom size, culture and management, which are negotiating items, from my understanding, that we're negotiating. And if we can have some kind of clarity from maybe their union president or somebody who's a rep from them to figure out what does all of them say middle school updates, what does that mean? So we can all be on the same page and the public and everyone knows what's going on? Because it is hard to say one thing and sign off on a policy and say you're not going to violate it, because if HR, and I'm just HR's here, and you're negotiating and you just broke the policy and HR says, well, you know, that's a you know, a slap on the wrist or whatever it could be, then I don't want Ms. really being punished for something that she didn't know that she wasn't supposed to be doing. So I just need a little bit more clarity before anybody gets to talking about what's going on at the middle school, if they're going to be talking about something that's a negotiated item, and the only people that can do that is whoever their union president is or whoever their rep is from nationals, because I'm a great supporter of NEA, MEA, and our PEA. But I don't want anybody getting in any trouble violating the policy that they signed off on just to play politics while we're in the middle of negotiating. So if the attorney, or they could take a 5-minute recess and kind of figure that out and then put a little bit more description to that, I'll gladly, I'm all for it. But right now, what just happened is a total violation of the bargaining, how we bargain, and total violation of the policy of what we both signed off on.
Attorney Seegers?
Briefly, so the board policy that governs public participation at board meetings is policy 0167.3, and there's a part at the bottom, actually, it talks about comments by employees of the district. And I'll read it just so we're all on the same page. It says, "The public participation portion of the meeting cannot be used by employees of the school district to make personal attacks against a board member or district employees that are unrelated to matters of public concern. Matters of public concern would include, by example, and not by limitation, corruption, impropriety, criminal conduct, public safety, testimony at legal or quasi-legal proceedings, and comments regarding the internal operations of the public agency. However, the employee cannot use the public comment portion of the board agenda to disrupt the operations of the school district, nor to express complaints that are related solely to the employee's personal employment situation with the Pontiac School District. The board will balance the disruptiveness of the employee's speech with the employee's right to comment on a matter of public concern. And if the board determines that the disruption outweighs any value in the expression, or that the complaint being brought forward belongs rightfully within the context of the collective bargaining agreement, and therefore the grievance procedure of the agreement, then the board reserves the right to prevent the employee from speaking on the matter further." So, I say all that to say that it is at the discretion of the board president if you determine that, the speech that is being spoken is disruptive to the extent that, it should be quelled. And whether or not, this is something that impacts or touches upon the operation of the school district, and if that's a matter of public concern. But it's really your call.
Okay. And do we understand that? Okay. All right. Go for it.
All set?
Yeah.
Thank you. The next card, Ms. Phyllis, is it Moratis? Conditions at Pontiac Middle School.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, members of the board and stakeholders in Pontiac. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. It is very gingerly that I'm making these comments. I think that in real time, there are some very disturbing things happening at the middle school that deserve our attention and deserve our time. Again, I'm being very careful as to how to say these things, as to not try to be offensive, but I think that there is a devolving culture that is happening. Classroom sizes are very large. Teachers are having very difficult time managing what's going on in the hallways, in the classrooms. This is not to be offensive in any way. This is certainly not to try to create any sort of disharmony between our two bodies. We are working hand in hand. At least that would be my hope. It is certainly not to come and be aggressive or to try to create any kind of problem. It is certainly just trying to say, we have a problem. We have a problem. 40 children in a classroom in literacy. We are creating a generation of children that need to be literate. In order to do that, we have to have the conditions to do such, to keep maintaining the high expectations that we have for our children. It's super important to me as an 8th grade ELA teacher because I'm preparing them for the high school. It's very important to me that my children can walk out of that classroom under being able to read, write. How difficult is that when I have a classroom of over 40 and some of them do not speak English? Have behavior problems that are very challenging. Again, it is not with any sort of malice. It is not with any sort of ill will. I'm simply saying that we have a problem, and together it is my hope that we can do better.
Thank you.
So, if you would allow me. If grievance in which they keep stating that the larger classrooms have not been brought to administration's attention or been able to even try to find some resolution. I don't know that to be true. I find it very offensive as the president of Central Multicultural that when you make a statement of saying that someone can't speak English and then say there's trouble, what the public can interpret that to be is that the people who don't speak English is getting folks in trouble. And I can't sit here as a president of a predominantly Hispanic, Latino nonprofit, and also as a board trustee to protect all students, whether they can speak English or not, because that's the second time that was said. It's just offensive, and then that does create an environment because they watch this channel. If you know that it is live, then why would we come have a conversation that we know is live, that somebody who can just take one soundbite, it is social media 2024, one soundbite and misinterpret even what you're saying as a teacher. I am a heavy supporter of NEA. They are one of our biggest contributors on a national level. And what I'm going to do is, so I will not get myself in such a situation, I'll remove myself at the public comments and then return. And then hopefully by that time, or hopefully they will stay after and have a conversation with Dr. Leverett, Dr. Devison, as it relates to what they're asking, if this is the first time they've ever heard of it. But we all have people that we're accountable to. So there's no disrespect to the MEA or Candace or any of her staff members, anything like that. It's just that there's a larger perspective going on here that I have to uphold as my leadership continues off this dais. That's important to the people that I serve as well. So just excuse me as they do the last two comments, and then you can carry on. Thank you.
Okay, please.
So that's just a quick question. And that was my question before we continued. Both you and Dr. Devinson's awareness of what's being said. If you don't have to make it if you don't want to. No, if you don't want to, I'm just saying because.
Absolutely.
Okay, and I'm just asking your awareness because, and the reason why I'm asking this, Doc, if I can say this, there's been a how could I put this? There's been a discussion or things stated that this board does not like, our teachers. We don't listen to them talk. Right? That's been said. Right? You know what you told me. And then that's not true. And I hear what they're saying, and I respect what they're saying, and I understand. And I've gone into the schools, and I've heard certain things. But because I'm not a type of board member who does day-to-day, and I recognize that. I spoke on this at the last meeting based on my role as a committee member of our bringing our kids back into school. And I talked about some of the concerns I have with teachers having to deal with specific kids based on the behaviors that I see when kids are trying to return. So mine is like, wow, the teachers are right. How can you control a classroom of 30, and I'm now here 40, when you got maybe 10 kids that are acting up? Then your main concern is dealing with the behaviors. That means the other 30 is not getting what they're supposed to. And mine is that, and I understand, and I know you're treading on, trying to be light at what you're saying, but we don't do day-to-day. And mine is that when you're hearing these comments, are these some of the things that you're aware of and where we go from this point forward? Because maybe the next two may not want to speak if they hear that you guys know what's happening, because the two last discussions were similar. And if the other two are coming, because the comments are middle school support and concerns. So mine is, I'm sure, and I don't want to assume that you're saying the same thing about needing support because of the classroom sizes and stuff. If you're aware of this and you know where they are, you know what to deal with, and then you bring that to negotiations. Because again, at this level, now I'm just speaking as a board member here, I like going into schools, but when it comes to dealing with those situations like that, we entrust administration, and when they bring it back to us, meaning you guys discuss it fairly and together. I mean, I just want to make sure of that, because we do hear you. I hear you when I go to the schools, right? And I don't ever want to hear that this board don't support, they don't even listen to us. That's not true. We do. But there's specific things that we have to avoid as a trustee. And I just want to make sure that you're aware. That's my question. It's up to you if you want to discuss that, up to the chair, if she allow that time, but I'm okay, however you want to do it.
Yeah, I would like to continue and let our teachers have their voice heard.
Okay, it's up to you.
Yep. Yep. We'll let them. So we have 2 more?
We do.
All right.
And the next one, I can read this name, Paul Sandy.
Good evening, Board of Trustees, as well as stakeholders. I'm here simply as the Vice President of the Pontiac Education Association, here to represent the many teachers in the district that support the teachers of Pontiac Middle School. The issues that they're bringing up are issues that, a lot of us share in our buildings as well. And I think teachers sharing their voice and their perspectives, we're trying to create a collaborative relationship with the board and recognizing that we're all on the same team. And it's a special moment for me when the PCT students get up there and we can all cheer together. And we're trying to have achievement, like Candace said. We're trying to have great relationships with our students, and things like class size, dealing with student behaviors. None of this is new, but people are saying that this is a situation that's got to be dealt with. And so I'm just here to say we support the teachers using their voice, and we'll work together in any kind of way to solve these types of issues. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Now, Elizabeth, don't get mad at me.
Okay, Voltis.
Voltis. I was going to say that. You took it out of me. Thank you. I'm an announcer, so I try to make sure I get the names right, because parents get mad when I announce them wrong.
I get it. Trust
Troy. That's them, the doctor.
Good evening.
Thanks, Doc.
Board, good evening.
Good
Staff, good evening, everybody. I am a teacher who has been with the district for over 20 years. I am here because I absolutely love my students, and I love working with my students at Pontiac. But I am concerned, and I'm trying to tread, again, the fine line. We all want to make it a better place to work.
Absolutely.
A better place to learn. So I would like to have a meeting so that we can discuss these issues in a forum where it's not controversial, because we all are here for the students. And I've seen many of my friends leave this year, not because they didn't like the students, but for other reasons. And I think if we all came together, we could make this a much better district for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. As Trustee Gross said, we thank you and appreciate you being here and sharing your comments with us. Our administration is here. They hear you as well. So we definitely appreciate it and know that there's some working conversations that could be had. So thank you again. All right, moving on down to our board comments and announcements. We'll start right here with Trustee Kraft.
I couldn't wait. All right, good evening, everybody. First of all, I want to let you know, I hear you. I hear you. It's not much I can say right now, but I hear you and I feel you. I'm a frequent, person that goes into the schools. I know if you see me over there, I go to all the schools. And I know it's just something we need to sit down and correct, okay? I hear you. And don't think I'm not with you, okay? And move on over here to these group of guys that patiently waited. That waited here, guys and lady, I believe, that waited here. Their community. And I really speak highly of community and the inclusion of community. And I believe the inclusion of community is what our children need to see. And with that, we have a good group of guys that, family men right here, got some of the nicest cars in Pontiac. And they reach out. 10 years ago, I had a basketball league over here for the kids. I ran a free basketball league, but I needed to finance it, to finance teams. All of a sudden, one of the guys out of the group came and said, hey, we can sponsor a team. These guys, I didn't know where they come from. Come out of there. They've been supporting our community, at least I know for at least 10, 15 years. They don't look for recognition. I made them stay. You know, they don't talk. They say, we don't want to talk. But while I'm speaking, could you guys go stand over here so they can get you on the camera? Some of you guys can come over here so we know who you are? But, okay, I can't do it. But I can do it. I got 5 minutes. I got 5 minutes, and I'm going, my people right here that I support, I'm going to roll with them right here. And Frank, put the camera on these people and that cute little baby right there. These are my 5 minutes. So these people, they're out here in the community, they're doing so much out here, but they never get recognized. This is the Pontiac Car Club. Now, they're creating a partnership with our school district. They want to have trunk or treat and different things, homecoming, and our kids need to see these people.
They were in the parade for homecoming.
They were in the parade for homecoming. And we got to thank these people for coming out doing this. They don't have to do this. A lot of these guys, they work during the day. I'm keeping them here after night. So actually playing over at the high school, and my baby was the only girl on the team. Like, it was about 25 of them playing for the Michigan Dolphins. They had a game at the corner ballpark yesterday. They went down 14-0 in the first quarter, 12-0 in the first quarter. They held them off to the last quarter, scored with 5 minutes to go in the game, got the ball back, had a chance to win the game, but kind of had a little setback. They didn't make it. They had one game from Ford Field, but this is my baby, my 8-year-old Temple Louise.
All right.
So I'm going to end this. I had a wonderful meeting, and like I said, I hear you. I hear you over there, and I see you. And I'm praying for you over there, too.
Thank you, Trustee Kraft. Keeping on this side of the table, Trustee Gross.
Thank you. Good evening, all. Just real quick, and I won't be long. Once again, what a good meeting. I appreciate what we're doing here. Just want to make sure how important it is. And I'm looking at the timeline, the time frame. We're almost near November, which is also close to December. The holidays are coming. And I've always been an advocate of all of us being together as one on the same page to ensure that we're working together, because everyone in this room, around this diocese here, and over here in this corner here, and as well as within the community over here, we have one common goal. And that's for the betterment of our children as pertains to their safety and their education. It's in the best interest of all of us to get on the same page. And we can only do that if we hear each other. Not saying we're choosing not to listen, and I understand the difficulties when it comes to negotiations, because one side wants something that the other feels that they don't want to give to them. But when it comes to the betterment of our children, let's take a hard look at it in a shorter period of time to see what we can do. I know you have answers. I know you do, because you were the former curriculum and instructor supervisor, so you're well aware of what's going on in the classrooms. And in the position you're in, you're well aware of what is needed. And we've talked about this before at board meetings, from the things that I've only seen from myself. And I'm not speaking of other board members, but the things that I've seen and the concerns that I have as it pertains to dealing with specific behaviors in the classroom and the focus that is taken off of education. But here's the thing. I've been around this district a long time in the capacity of a student, a parent, the uncle of a king, as well as a board trustee. And during those many years which is well over 50. I ain't gonna tell my age. I'm only 52. Y'all don't. But here's the thing. We've done it before, and we have the capabilities to do it again. We have the ability to keep doing it. That's where we are. We hear you. Doc, I hear you. Ms. Kellum, we hear you. Doc, I hear you. So, let's get this done. And let's do it in as much as peace and harmony as we can. Because, listen, holidays are coming. And that's important because we'll be sitting at this table. Next thing you know it, it's Thanksgiving, then it's Christmas. And we're talking about the same old thing. So I'm saying we're in a fine time right now. So I hear you. So we'll do it right. Okay? Appreciate you all. Thank this board. I know you guys are going to Lansing. See you when you get back on Sunday. And let's keep this going. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Garrett, anything?
Yes. Only thing I ask is that we come up with a new way of doing things. I've been here since 2005. I've been in your seat, been in your shoes. Started out teaching after-school programs. Worked my way in as a substitute. That was back in 1998 to 99. Then I became an SRO. So I come from out of the system. I come from out of the culture. What I'm saying is the people who were sitting where you're sitting before you, like as the president, they did the same things that you're doing. And what I'm saying is be a part of the solution. Meaning, there's more than one way to do something. And the community in which that they turn a mute ear. And we can go back and forth and we can have these estranged conversations if we don't know what's going on. We know exactly what's going on. But you and I both know that the only person who can recruit a teacher is a teacher. The only person that can say, okay, we may want to look at doing this differently is the people who are working in the system, but then also have people in the system that can listen to the people who, and now if that breaks down and that communication breaks down, okay, I think that is a board conversation. But then that's a simple conversation. It's not like you as the president can't talk to the president of the board. There's nothing legal about that. You're not talking about negotiations at that particular point in time. But when you sit here and do it in this particular environment, and again, I go out, I travel throughout the country to help teachers have these very hard conversations that we're having in public education. It has to change. We've been doing the same thing the way we've been doing it for 100 years. My hope is that the people in this district, the people in this district can be an example for everybody else across the country. And I think you have some folks in your union, you have some teachers that really want to see something done differently. I don't think it's something that this is done, to be malicious or anything like that. In that sense, I just think there's things that haven't been at your disposal or haven't been offered. And I think this is an olive branch. This is something to do differently. We're having conversations about how we want to deliver education differently. But folks who want to see the difference, you have to pick them as a leader and say, you will go to that meeting. Because it's not just one-sided anymore. Things have changed since the pandemic. You're losing people daily out of the organization that don't even want to teach, just like we are as law enforcement officers. But kids still need to be educated, whether they can speak English or not. And so the only way that we could do that is to have the hard conversations together and not where it looks like we're politicizing or making things seem like one is over the other. Because in these short sound bites, that's what they see. I've been this way. I'm not changing who I am, but I'm very hopeful. Hopeful is the word. Because when I go over to the middle school, I see it. So I started that's why I helped with the chess club. Reason being is to teach strategy. Reason being is to have a different conversation with a kid so he can influence his students. We got 12 people on a regular basis on a week to come over there. But it doesn't stop the ones that want to pile up on their phones and meet at the other end of the hallway. They don't think nobody's there. Right? Like, so it's a real problem, and you're real people who have real solutions. So I'd rather be frank with you than start having these political conversations about afterwards. But just do it differently, because the people didn't set you up to be solid enough. You're a different PEA than I've ever seen. And I've been here enough. Trust me, I've been through a few presidents. You have the power to do something differently because you've seen and experienced a lot. So my expectation publicly from you, Madam President, is that those thoughts that you have that you don't think people will listen, they'll listen, because you got it. Now, as far as administration and tonight is concerned, see you guys in Lansing. I'll be there on Friday, and then we have a trip, and we purposely did it Sunday through Monday, that professional development, to make sure that people really wanted to be there. And I think this one is going to be over the top. We're about 1,200 at this one. So thank you, Madam President. Thank you, Madam, and thank you all. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Moving on over to Secretary Davis Smith.
Good evening, everyone. So my trustees basically said, what I feel as well. I said all the time that it takes all of us in order to be a great district. We always talk about the problems, and for me, I'm ready for the conversation to have the solutions. I've been in the community speaking with our retirees, and they watch our show. They watch our board meetings, and they are upset, and they have some concerns about things, not in a really bad way, but they have some solutions for us. And so I want us to have a conversation. I actually supposed to pick up some of those things so that they've written me. They're not always like we are, so they're not going to email them to me, but I'm going to get the solutions and bring them forward to everybody so that we can talk about it to help our district. And even Dr. Weatherspoon said maybe they'll come in and maybe on that prep time help you guys if they're vetted in for that hour or whatever. Also, I wanted to say congratulations, Temple. Cousin Quana played football too. I was the only girl on the football team when I was a little older than you. I was 13 and 14. But I also went on to playing semi-pro football for 5 years, and we were undefeated for 5 years. So you can be anything you want to be. I'm also a football coach now. I coach the offensive line. So you can do whatever it is you want to do. I also played with dolls and did all kind of other stuff. I tried to figure my life out, and I'm still trying to figure out what I want to be when I grow up. But you can be anything you want to be. So whatever your heart desire, we're here to support you. I wanted to congratulate the students again in the CNA program for completing. I also wanted to say I'm in support of the car group. They have been with P's and Q's doing events. There was never an issue, and we had hundreds of people out there in the middle of the night until the middle of the night, and we never had a problem or issue, and the kids and families came along and set up to eat and park with us. So I'm excited that they come and support the school district. The kids love them. That's them seeing something different, wanting to learn about cars and how they car so fast and how that thing is sitting out. I forgot what they said, but the duals and all of that stuff. So I'm not a car girl, but I love me some old school cars. So my old school friends is cool to be around them. It's always family oriented. So I wanted to say that, and I'm just excited because someone asked me about our interim superintendent, and she comes for curriculum, and I believe that that's the road that we're taking now. We're putting literacy ahead of adult issues. So I just can't wait to see our district grow. So I know now that our community also want to come in and help to grow our district and help our staff. I mean, that might help monetarily as well if we can get our our retirees in and have them to volunteer. You know what I mean? So that's all I have to say for tonight. Thank you guys and have a good night. And see y'all Sunday.
Thank you, ma'am. Treasurer Terry.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'll try to keep mine short. First off, I want to say congratulations to those that received the recognitions, the CNA program, and also Dr. Reeves. Congratulations to everyone. Keep up the good work. Second, I also want to say, I guess, welcome to the family, Kevin Upton. Glad you considered Pontiac, and glad to have you here, and looking for great things from you. So once again, thank you and welcome. Let's see. I also want to say, in regards to the resolution for Mrs. Marshall, congratulations again. 100 years, was it?
Yes.
That's a blessing. I know a lot of us look forward to trying to get there. So just want to say congratulations to you. Continue to be strong and continue to run that life and enjoy that 100 mark. So also I want to say, last but not least, just another reminder in regards to Accent Pontiac. Their 7th annual Green Bucket Run will be coming up on Saturday, November the 2nd. It starts at 9:30 a.m. and it will be hosted at Kirk in the Hills. That's located out in Bloomfield Hills. So if you are interested, feel free to check out the website, register, sponsor a kid, make some donations, and they're also doing a snack drive for that event as well. accentpontiac.org. And then I also want to remind everyone, and I believe there's emails out there and flyers, but also coming up on is it the 30th, I want to say? The 30th, and I believe the flyer has been out there, and I think this is out there for the community as well, the 13th Annual Angels Night, the Trunk or Treat. That will be Wednesday, October 30th. And that's from 5 to 8 p.m. It's going to be hosted out at the M1 Concourse. And I enjoyed the video. I seen the video, so good video. So just come out and support that. Bring the kids out, have a good time, safe and fun. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Terry. All right, I won't be long, but again, I wanted to thank our teachers for being here. As everybody said, I concur. We definitely want to have conversations about how we can make this better. And so the doors are open, administration is here so that we can talk about how we can do this together. I also would like to again congratulate and just thank Dr. Reeves for her commitment and the work that she does, and Ms. Jackson, who's still in the trenches helping us to get this right. A couple of meetings ago, or maybe the last meeting, a comment was made about our CTE programs. And I just want to say this is an example of one of our CTE programs. So we're here, it's in the works, and we want to make sure that not just the PCT program is effective, but we want to make sure our other programs are as well. So thanks to everybody that's working to make that happen. Also, I wanted, Mr. Upton, welcome again. We look forward to you serving in your position and the great things that you're going to do. Next, Marv, I want to thank you and your team. In case you guys have not been to the high school, our phase 2 of alumni bricks have been laid. So if there are any additional alumni members that would like to purchase a brick for the Alumni Walk of Fame, these bricks are placed in front of the high school along the walk path. So if anybody is interested in purchasing a brick, please contact Ms. Terry Covington, who's the president of the Pontiac Alumni Foundation. Of course, we're wanting our students, our 12th graders, give them an opportunity to get their alumni bricks once they graduate. But again, Marv, I want to thank you guys for being so quick with getting those bricks put down. I know they were just delivered, but you guys already have them down, so we really appreciate you. That's all I have for tonight. Thank you, administration, for all that you do. We appreciate you being here. Ms. Cynthia Seegers, Pete, thank you guys for your work and your dedication as well. So that's all I have for tonight. If I can get a motion to adjourn our meeting.
So moved.
Support.
It's been moved by trustee Gross and supported by trustee Kraft to adjourn our meeting. Any questions? Roll call, please.
Trustee Kraft?
Yes.
I'm voting yes. Trustee Garrett?
Yes.
Trustee Gross?
Yes.
President Hannah?
Yes.
Treasurer Terry?
Yes.
That passes 6-0.
Thank you. Meeting is adjourned at 7:32 PM. Good night, everybody, and thank you for watching.
Tell us about the poll you took about the third.